Hi everyone, welcome to the new talk show run by myself. This has been a concept of mine which was lingering in my head for a very long time. So welcome to Be Your Brand with Sasanka Das, powered by Barista. So the story that revolves around this talk show goes back to 2017, where I started a vlog or a short video series titled Midweek Influence. And through this video series, I established my personal brand on social media platforms. So this talk show is the 2.0 version of Midweek Influence. So Be Your Brand with Sasanka Das, powered by Barista, Stories of Influence. My first guest for the show is a Sri Lankan that every Sri Lankan should know, I would say. So he's a Sri Lankan American entrepreneur. He's the lead software architect of Sephora.com, which is one of the top 10 e-commerce websites in the world, and founder and CEO of iLabs. He's none other than Punsri Abeywickrema. Punsri, it's a pleasure to have you with us. And thank you very much for accepting my invitation to become the first guest of this podcast or talk show. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. I warmly welcome you, Punsri.
Thank you, Sasanka. And it's an honor to be on your first show. And, congratulations on your long journey and the 2.0 version of yours. And, it's great to be here.
Thank you very much. So let's move on to the conversation. But before that, this show is powered by Barista, as you can see in my background, and also Punsri and myself are having a nice cup of coffee. Cheers, Punsri.
Yes.
Wonderful. So let's move on to the first question, Punsri. It's about your story. This story would inspire a lot, not only in Sri Lanka, but across the world. Starting from your childhood and up to date, what you're doing. I would like to hear your story from you.
Okay. All right. Where do I start? You said.
Let's start from your childhood, yes, and the passion that you have created, so on and so forth.
Okay. It's a long journey. It has been a long journey and a long story, but I'll give you the short version of it. So,
yes.
As a child, I grew up in Sri Lanka, in Battaramulla, with my parents, my two brothers, and my sister. I'm the eldest. And I went to school at Mahanama College in Kolpiti. And since my small age, I would say I've been an entrepreneur because even at school, I've been trying to do new things, figure out, build stuff. That was my interest, building stuff, right? So I've been an engineer and an entrepreneur even from my child age. And, one of the things that really triggered my current journey or the journey of last 20 years was, I think I was in grade 5 or 6. My parents took me to Anuradhapuram. And for the first time, I've been fortunate to see all these massive engineering structures that our ancestors built, right? And my parents, my siblings, everybody was like, "Oh wow, look at all this!" Right? Everybody was so proud of our great history. And I was thinking, should I be proud or should I be, ashamed because we haven't, as a nation, done anything like that for 2,000 plus years. And that's when my generation, my parents' generation, parents' generation, all of us, we haven't been able to achieve anything to that level for 2,000 years. So I promised, that was the moment, looking at this, Ruan Valley Sahel to Abeywickrema to all these great things our ancestors have done. I promised myself that I am not going to let another generation go by without trying to do something about it, without trying to change it. And so I wanted to do something big in my lifetime that would bring our great engineering DNA and put Sri Lanka back on the global map. So that was when, year 5 or 6, that was when my journey started. Right? And my mother, who's a math teacher, retired math teacher now, and she taught at Mahanama College as well. And she knew that side of me, that she always tells me that I'm built to do the world. So, having grown up in a, kind of a lower middle class family, both parents government servants, it was kind of a dream come true for me to go to America for my higher studies. But that's also with a lot of heroics from my mother, my father to, make or show the money that we didn't really have to get my visa to send me to America and get my bachelor's degree in math and computer science. So I went to US and I studied computer science and mathematics at the University of Wisconsin Superior. And when I graduated, I knew that I had to somehow find my way to the Silicon Valley, because that is where all these greatest technology things in the current time getting created, getting innovated, getting established. So I had to find my way, and I found my way, luckily, right? And at Silicon Valley, my first job was at Oracle as a Java programmer, and I was there for 5 years. And then I went to PayPal as a release engineer, and then moved my way up to be a release manager. And around the same time, LinkedIn was just coming out of the startup mode, and it was still a startup. And I was fortunate enough to become one of the first, couple of hundred employees at LinkedIn when it was getting built. So I joined LinkedIn and I learned a lot, and also I contributed to a lot to LinkedIn, the early days of LinkedIn. Now, at the time, it had only few million users. Now it has almost, I think it may have passed even billion users. I don't know the exact figures right now. But, being in the early stage of one of the greatest software companies or the web technology companies in the making, that gave me a lot of experience and exposure into how these, world-class, scalable technology solutions are built. And after LinkedIn, I decided that I want to pursue my entrepreneur passion, because I had gone through Silicon Valley's big tech giants and learned a lot, and I wanted to put that into practice. So in 2010, I came across this idea to solve a big enough problem in the world where people are forced to buy things not out of really need, but because they don't have alternative solution. Things like power tools, things like this high value, low utilized items where a ladder, an electric drill, a power saw, or even like some sporting gear, camping tents, and even party rentals, things like that, right? So you couldn't really go easily borrow things. So because of that, you would buy it only to collect dust in your home. So I said, no, I'm going to change that culture because this will help people and save some money, and also it will help some people make some money, and it will help the world reduce consumption and reduce the carbon footprint, right? So I was super excited about about the idea, and I wanted to build a global rental platform similar to Amazon or eBay, but not for selling things, but for renting things. So in 2010, I built that platform. It was called Rental in Community, launched it. And being a first-time entrepreneur, I made my own share of mistakes and fell flat on the ground by 2012. But, I learned. Then the next few years, I kept, figuring out what's my 2.0 version of the platform. And also on the side, I built iLabs in Sri Lanka. I launched iLabs in 2012 in Sri Lanka. And the goal was, exposing Sri Lanka into, this, global technology scene and providing opportunity for Sri Lankans. That's my way of like a little bit of giving back to the country as well. I figured that I would bring some dollars back into the country, provide some opportunities to our local smart software engineers. So I established iLabs, and it kept growing and growing since then. And 2014, I joined Sephora as an architect and worked there for about 3 years. And then 2017, I was ready to do my 2.0 version, which was cloudofgoods.com, which still stands, which is running in America, and it's available in 89 cities, and probably one of the largest e-commerce solutions any Sri Lankan has ever built at this point. And it is doing about north of $2 million worth of rentals at the moment in 89 cities across the US. And this year we are planning to start our international expansion as well. And right now I'm working, like you mentioned, I'm working as a lead architect for artificial intelligence and personalization at Sephora. And also I'm working on, I'm running my 2 startup companies, cloudofgoods.com, which is running in the US, but operationalized in Sri Lanka. So it's 100% Sri Lanka built and 100% operations in Sri Lanka. And I'm very proud of that achievement. And also, iLabs. So that's kind of the short version of my journey.
And we are proud of you as well. So I have to say that. And since you were one of the first few hundred employees at LinkedIn, right? So LinkedIn now has more than 810 million users. So it's that huge. And the amount of opportunity that people have through that platform. Let's talk about networking, since you have been part of LinkedIn, which is the pioneer or the premier networking platform in the world right now. How have you used networking in your journey to maybe land opportunities, maybe meet diverse people, which has helped you in your career? Can you share us your story about networking in your journey?
Absolutely. So when it comes to networking, right, I want to mention that something one of my advisors told me. You are a byproduct of the closest 5 people that you associate. And having gone through this journey, I believe in this. I tell my team members also, you are a byproduct of the closest 5 people you associate. So in that sense, your network, that is your network, that is your immediate network. Right? And then you have your peripheral network, you have your larger network, right? Through your social media platforms. So, networking is very important, because none of us humans can survive in the world without others. We are an ecosystem of each other that grows together, right? That's the beauty of humanity, right? So, networking is none other than, your circle of friends, your circle of colleagues, your circle of family, your circle of relatives, and a combination of all that, right? And I think with the evolution of the social media platforms in the last decade, especially, the networking has gone into another level where you can connect with people completely remotely. And now, you are sitting here in Sri Lanka, and if you want to find a contact in Silicon Valley, you can go on to LinkedIn kind of platforms and you can connect with people. And the stronger your network, the stronger the knowledge base that you build, the stronger the platform that you build to propel you forward much faster. And earlier days, it would have taken me, so many decades to learn what I learned. But with all the networking tools available and the knowledge available to me right at my fingertips through, the social platforms like LinkedIn, it has helped me propel much faster. When I need advice, I have my previous colleagues from the places where I work, and I can pick someone and I can say, hey, I'm coming across this problem at Cloud of Goods. Can you, help me out here? And it's as easy as that, right? And also, it's worthy to note that, good times and bad times are 2 sides of the same coin, right? Not when we go through good times, the bad times come. When you go through bad times, good times come. So it's important to have a good network when you fall, who can give you a lending hand to pick you up again, right? It's very important, especially having gone through a huge failure due to COVID with Cloud of Goods, where I pretty much lost everything. My network lifted me up, not just financially, but also spiritually, mentally, support, the moral support, all of that. That is very important. So especially for an entrepreneur or a working professional, it's very important to have a good network.
Yes, absolutely spot on, Punsri, because both of us meeting is also a result of networking. Simple as that. So that's how networking is powerful. And you have to take action when you're building a network. You can't just stay without taking action. And also giving and taking is the policy that you need to follow when networking. So tying up with the same answer that you gave, talking about your failures and coming up, hitting the rock bottom and coming up successfully, your network helped, you said. And now in Sri Lanka, we're in a crisis situation. The crisis always comes with an opportunity. But the issue is we don't see the opportunity. And I know, Punsri, you are contributing immensely to talk to the Sri Lankan youth and youth globally through social media and physical events, so on and so forth, asking them to become part of the solution. What are the qualities that we should develop to become part of the solution?
Absolutely. So, problem and opportunity, they are the same, two sides of the same coin, right? And if you look at the history of humanity, history of mankind, if you look at what are the greatest turning points of the human evolution, those are the greatest disasters also, because the disaster creates an opportunity for us to reinvent and recreate, a new normal, right? So, I've been telling, even 2 years ago, I saw this economic problem coming, and I wrote an article on Sunday Times, and I said, this is a new normal. We have to reinvent our systems, our culture, our people, the way we do things. We have to reinvent, we have to recreate. So, like, I came to Sri Lanka about 5 weeks ago, and everywhere I look, I see opportunity, because, currently we have hit rock bottom. I don't think there's any other bottom that we can go, right? And I think the youth should be excited, because this is a great opportunity that our thinking youth would get, probably the only opportunity we would get in our lifetimes to recreate, reinvent, innovate, and thrive, right? Because when you hit the bottom, the only way is up. There's no other bottom for us to go right now, right? So we should be all excited about where we are today and create that positive energy and bring positive thinking, entrepreneurial thinking, and think positive on, yes, it hurts to be in the bottom. We can either be negative for the rest of our lives and be in the bottom and be one of the worst countries in the world, or we could look at it as an opportunity for us to create net new and bring positivity to and innovate and invent and build a great nation where, us and our generations to come can be proud of. And I think the latter is much more exciting as youth. Youth got a lot more energy. We all have energy. Let's make it our generation that do great things and made this country shine in the world after 2,000 years again. And I think finally we have an opportunity to do that, right? But for us to do that, we need to, if you know math, negative and negative is negative, more negative, right? So, like, one of the things that I noticed, having flown in from US into Sri Lanka 5 weeks ago, when I turn on the TV, I actually stopped turning on the TV because it depresses you if you watch TV, right? Because everything is negative. So I think the role of media, I think especially the youth, the new generation in media, should also think about it as an opportunity to reinvent media. Because if you look at the world media, even everybody is focused on negative side of things that is happening. I think there's an opportunity right now for us to focus on opportunity, the solution, and create a new way of thinking, create a new culture, a positive culture, right? A solution-oriented culture instead of problem-oriented culture. right? So for that reason, I think the role of media is very important, because media kind of guide the society, right? So role of media, and then the role of government. We have to, I think, right now more than ever, triggered by the Aragalaya, triggered by the youth movements, I think everybody is thinking about what is the role of government. What kind of a government do we want for our future generations? Because if you look at current governing systems, they are created before a cell phone existed, before a car existed, before an airplane existed in the world. Today's world is a new world, and we keep upgrading our phone when there's a new version comes out, right? But we haven't upgraded our governing systems for the last few centuries. So now I think that more than ever, there is an opportunity for the youth to participate in inventing and innovating a new governing system that we all can be proud of, right? I call it the democracy plus plus. Can we create a democracy plus plus for the new world? And we can be an example for the world as well, right? So that's an opportunity. And what is the role of youth? Is it the Aragalaya? Is it a revolution? Is it I think there's a question being asked right now. What is the role of youth? And I think the role of youth should be bringing that energy to propel this humanity forward. I think Aragalaya gave I guess put the spotlight on the problem, and now I think is the time that we turn that energy into more positive movement to look at problems in a positive way and figure out solutions. In that sense, youth need to be entrepreneurs. We can bring all that youth energy to figure out solutions for the burning problems of today, not just in Sri Lanka, because if you look at what is happening around the world, fuel shortages, the inflation, the consumer goods prices, those are global problems today, mostly triggered by, the COVID crisis as well as the Ukrainian war, right? So Sri Lanka, unfortunately, happened to be the first victim, but there are other countries who are starting to go through the same or similar problems. So sometimes even in the time to come, they may see worse economic and social problems, right? So I think us being the first to hit rock bottom, I think we have an opportunity here for us to figure out the solution for the rest of the world as well. That is how youth should think about this. And I think if we capitalize our energy on the solution, we may end up building, several global companies, several multi-billion-dollar companies, several great ideas, new systems, and a great example for the rest of the world to follow. So that's how I think we should think. And I can give you a couple of examples of, how to turn a problem into an opportunity, right? Now, if you look at, I was driving on the highway last weekend, and every toll booth, they were saying no paper in Sri Lanka to print the ticket. Right? So you can either complain, oh, Sri Lanka is so poor, we don't even have money to buy paper. Or you can say, oh my God, this is a great opportunity to create a digital solution for this. And we would never need paper for it again, right? Why do we need paper in today's world? We have enough technology to digitize that, right? Same for, train tickets. I heard that the railway department is running out of paper. So great. We should never use paper anymore. And I think for the first time in the world, a country has an opportunity to go 100% digital on ticketing and go into e-ticketing solutions, right? And that would open up opportunities for our university students, our youth, our professionals to create these digital solutions. So that's just one example of how we can turn a problem into an opportunity. Right? And another example is, there's power shortages. We don't have money to buy diesel to, power generators and all of that, right? Now, this country has thousands of waterfalls and water streams. Can our youth create micro turbines and use that to create micro energy sources and figure out a way to, be energy self-sufficient and with green energy instead of burning fossil fuels, right? So I think there's an opportunity for entrepreneurs there. And if you look at Sri Lanka right now, Sasank, I'm telling you, I see opportunity everywhere I look, right? So the youth should be super pumped up right now, super excited, because after a long time, we are presented with so many opportunities, business opportunities, government opportunities, regulatory opportunities, media opportunities, culture shift opportunities. There's so much. I think we all should unite. We all should get together and create momentum, put all our energy behind this and create momentum to shift this negative thinking into positive force to create a new Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, like thousands of years ago, Ravana, King Ravana's time, it's a known fact now, I think, from like Middle Eastern to Indonesia kind of region. We have King Ravana has ruled the world, right? He's one of the greatest emperors in the world. I think we have an opportunity to create a technology hub here, a great nation for the rest of the world to follow. And I think we should seize this opportunity because it's now or never.
You're watching Be Your Brand with Sasank, powered by Barista, Stories of Influence. We are talking to Punsri Abeywickrema, a proud Sri Lankan who is winning the world. So Punsri, before we move on to the next question, the show is powered by Barista, and we're having coffee while talking. And Barista has 16 outlets across the country. And I have to say that this is a place to meet up for your business meetings, if you're a student, so on and so forth. Whatever your requirement is, Barista is there to meet it for you. So, moving on with the conversation, Punsri, during your journey, throughout your journey, you consume content. You have read books, you have watched YouTube, you have watched YouTube videos, listened to podcasts, talk to people, so on and so forth. That's the journey. So are there any specific books, YouTube channels, podcasts that you can recall and mention to us so that it will be really beneficial to our audience, Punsri? Let's go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one fun fact about me is every day when I get up in the morning, I allocate about 10 to 15 minutes of my time to watch something positive, something inspirational. That's what motivates me, right? So I go to YouTube and I say motivational videos. I search and then something comes up. Or if I'm going through a particular problem in life and I say motivational videos for that whatever the problem, and then there's tons of videos that comes up, right? So I pick one and I watch usually 10 to 15 minute video that gives me the energy and the motivation to get through the day. That is at the starting of the day. And then at the very end of my day, I make it a point to read something, nothing big, something, some about a technology blog, or even if I need inspiration, if I had a hard day, I watch another inspirational video at night. So I go to sleep, right? So in that sense, YouTube is a great resource. There are millions of videos, great videos, people sharing their experiences. TED Talks are great. To name a few, I watch, for life advice, I watch this person called Sadhguru. He has great videos. Also, Jay Shetty, Ed Milet, Lewis House has a great, podcast about, it's called The School of Greatness, and I follow that. And also as kind of a model, I follow Richard Branson. His leadership style, I love his leadership style. I love what he has done with life and how he's involved in changing the world to make it a better world, right? So I follow Richard Branson, and whatever he does in his life, I keep track of that. And also other resources like LinkedIn Learning is a great resource. There are other online resources like Udacity. There are many. I mean, this day and age, I think there's no reason that you should be saying that I cannot improve my knowledge and it costs me. There are so much free resources available, and my message to the youth is, one of the things I noticed in Sri Lanka is there's this teledrama culture, and the teledramas are, completely, it's reflecting the current state of this culture, the negativity and all the bad things. And if you turn that into more of a, positive thinking, inspiration, you use that time wisely to enhance your about the world, about technology, or give you inspiration, I think that's a better use of your time.
Absolutely. So I think, as you mentioned, the content you consume makes a massive impact on your mindset. If you consume positive content, yes, you will be positive. If you consume negative content, yeah, you will be negative. Simple as that. So I think
not just negative, you'll be miserable. You'll live
absolutely.
a miserable life.
Spot on. So you tend to mess up whatever you do. So let's focus on the positive and move forward. So my final question on episode 1 for you, Punsri, is what's next for Punsri Abeywickrema? What's next for the youth across the world? And what is the advice that you have for the youth as well as the people of Sri Lanka and across the world? And you can also, I think you have a request to make as well. So you can go ahead with that as well at the end. Let's go ahead.
All right. Sounds good. So what's next for Punsri Abeywickrema? Interesting question. I'm someone who live in the moment. I take it as it comes. I don't do too much plan ahead. But with that said, I think, one of my ambitions is to build that global technology company. If somebody asks me what's my dream, I want to build the next Amazon or the next eBay, right? That's what I'm working towards. And with Cloud of Goods, I think we have taken a good start. Nobody thought we would survive COVID, but we did. And we relaunched, and it's growing very, very fast across America right now. And we are planning to take it global within the next couple of years, right? So I think cloudofgoods.com, you guys can go and check out cloudofgoods.com. And, that is my goal, to take it global and make it one of the top e-commerce companies in the world. That's one. And then, what's next for Sri Lanka's youth? I think Sri Lanka's youth, had a great start in terms of, changing systems, put the spotlight on the problem. And now, everybody is aware of the problem and people are thinking on how to fix this country, right? So you did a great job there with the start of the Aragale. And I think now it's time to change gears, because you cannot keep, protesting on the streets. Now the youth energy is needed to find solutions. So you put the spotlight on the problem. Now youth need to figure out solutions, because you cannot expect the government to do everything or somebody else to do everything. They have to be part of the solution. So I think for Sri Lanka's youth, I think the next phase is, launching many Aragalayas, positive Aragalayas to, find solutions, right? With that said, one of the requests I have is, if you look at, short term, mid term, and long term, how do we fix Sri Lanka? I think the quickest way to fix the dollar problem in this country is, reviving tourism, because the tourism collapse in the last few months, especially, hurt this country much more, right? Because the Western media, everybody's showing the negative side of what is happening in Sri Lanka. People got scared to come to this country. So now I think we have to change that mindset. So I want us all, not just youth, I want all of us, my humble request to everyone, if you want to fix this dollar problem short term, promote Sri Lanka as a tourism destination. We have great things to offer to the world's tourists. We have great nature, wildlife, history, thousands of years of history. Buddhism is a great gift that we can give to the world. We have thousands of years of Buddhist culture that we can give to the world. We have climate, especially, places like Arabs, they visit Sri Lanka to see rain, right? So how fortunate we are, we take it for granted, right? We have all this and we have to celebrate all this. So my request to every Sri Lankan is, take 2 minutes of your day, every day, in the next few months, to take a picture of something nice around you, some scenery, sunrise, sunset, some tree, nice bird, or a cultural place, or even, happy family. Take a picture of Sri Lanka, our culture, right? Showcase Sri Lanka. Be proud of what we have, because many countries around the world don't have what we have. And we should not be taking it for granted. Showcase, take a short, 30-second video clip, post it on TikTok, post it on YouTube, post some photos on, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. And if everybody does this, world is going to see Sri Lanka beyond the problems, and the world is going to see Sri Lanka as a great destination for the world to see. And if we do that, thousands of tourists will start flocking in again, and we will start dollars flowing into the country. That is the short-term problem, right? So I think we should next phase of Aragalaya, I think we should switch to let's bring tourists back Aragalaya. And I want to declare the next Aragalaya as let's revive Sri Lanka's tourism sector Aragalaya. And I think we all should participate in it. And if we do that, next few months, we will start seeing like short run, we'll start seeing the problems going away.
Fabulous. Golden advice, Punsri. I think this is how we should start thinking. And it's always possible to achieve what we really want to achieve if we have the proper mindset, vision, and the direction. So as you said, I think to the audience, your story is inspirational, and how you came up once you hit the rock bottom, right? Through your network, how your network helped you, and also your effort that you put in, and what you're building is humongous, right? So, and as a Sri Lankan, you're an inspiration to all the Sri Lankans, especially the youth. Yes, there are ideas, but there's something missing. There is a missing link somewhere. So it's a matter of finding it and supporting them to conquer the world. So I think, I know that Punsri, you are a person who's always ready to help the country, and you're already contributing to that task, whether you're here or overseas, in the US or wherever in the world. We know that you're always there with our motherland. So thank you very much, Punsri, for being my first guest of We Are Brand with Sasanka Das, powered by Barrister. Stories of influence. Yes, indeed, your story is of massive influence. I have to tell that. And I want to thank Mr. Abeywickrema, who is the CEO of Barrister Lanka, for accepting my request to be the sponsor of this show, and he liked the concept and just said, Sasanka, let's do this. So thank you very much once again to Barrister. And with that, we're going to wrap up episode 1 of Be Your Brand with Sasanka Das, powered by Barrister. And I have to tell you that Barrister offers a lifetime ambassador. It's a prestigious offer that you get. So Punsri, you will be entitled to that. So all my guests in the future will be entitled to the lifetime ambassador offer given by Barrister. So let's meet once again, and thank you very much. I wish you all success, Punsri.
Thank you.
Whatever you do, and building the next big thing in the world is something that we are waiting, and we want you to do it, and we are always there to support you. So thank you very much. Thank you very much to the wonderful audience. Thank you very much once again, Punsri. And Let's meet up soon. Until then, have yourselves a day filled with happiness, courage, and always visualize success. You will achieve what you want to achieve. Think positive, be an influencer, not an influencer. I'll see you soon.